Houghton, you must see reason.
I am seeing reason. I'm the only one who is.
There'll be a fight.
And someone will get hurt. Look, I'm running my business my way.
Only as long as you're in the chair, Houghton.
Are you threatening me? Look, Thorpe, I know what you're up to. And as for you, Williams, I don't take orders from my company secretary.
Now, I'd like to remind you of the fact
Oh,
of what
shut
you're
up,
doing.
I made up my mind and there's an end of it. If you don't like it, you can lump it.
Houghton's got to be stopped. Hello. Thorpe here. I thought it would be you. Have you spoken to him?
No, I haven't spoken to him, and shall I... No, just a minute. Well, yes, of course I'm at Houghton's cottage.
Now, make quite sure Houghton realizes that we won't let him get away with it. There's too much at stake, and... What do you mean he's not there? Now, pull yourself together, man. What?
I think he's dead.
John's the post come? What's that?
Oh, just some equipment. £257, 16 shillings and 9 pence, including purchase. Isn't that fascinating? Yeah.
Well, you've got a camera.
Oh, not for this sort of work. Oh, no, it really is a necessity.
Oh, no.
What?
It's the estimate for the roof. John, they want £250.
What?
Well, it's got to be done.
What, now?
It's a necessity.
Was there any sign of burglary or violence, anything?
Yes, the lock on the front door was broken.
And?
Well, that's all. The place was quite tidy as usual.
That's all, then stop panicking, man. What makes you think Houghton's dead?
Well, there was a boat drifting, his jacket had blood on it.
All right. So he should have been there, and he wasn't.
Yes, I was thinking on the way back that perhaps he'd had an accident
Perhaps.
further upstream.
Thank goodness you didn't call the police at any rate.
But if something has happened, they're bound
Now,
to
the last thing we want is for the press to get hold of it. With this takeover bid pending, one word that Houghton's dead and the shares will fall like...
Yes, I know. I can't take a loss at the moment, I just can't.
Oh, who can? There you are in pretty deep.
Well, what are we going to do? Because if he is dead, the press is bound to find out.
Maybe there's a way to stop this situation getting out of hand.
What are you going to do?
Oh, calm down. We don't even know if there is a situation.
I tell you, I saw the boat!
Stop
I saw
bleating,
the
man.
jacket!
Let me think. We've got to keep this under control. You sure you've told me everything?
Yes, of course I have.
I must say, you don't actually look like a murderer.
That's not very funny. Now, that you're taking it all very calmly.
I always take things calmly, Williams.
Who are you calling?
My underwriting department. I'll have a word with Aykroyd.
In brief, Dr. Hardy, until a death certificate can be seen, or Houghton's death proved beyond reasonable doubt, my company's hands are tied.
Of course. But I don't quite understand why your company, rather than Mrs. Houghton, should wish to employ me. Or is she not the beneficiary?
No, the policy has been assigned to us to cover a mortgage we granted on his house.
You will be paying yourselves.
Quite. But we have an additional interest in Mr. Houghton.
Oh?
Yes, it concerns our investment department. Mr. Thorpe.
Bastion Assurance has a large shareholding in Houghton's Limited.
Oh, the shares would be affected by Mr. Houghton's death.
Very much so. You see, Houghton's Limited, although public, is still very much a one-man company. He's a brilliant and inventive engineer. Unfortunately, he runs the business as though it was still his own.
And it isn't?
No, only 40% of it.
When Mr. Williams went down to the cottage, why didn't he go straight to the police?
I told him not to.
You did?
Well, we don't know for sure that anything's happened yet.
Oh, you must think so, surely. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Or is there some other reason?
Dr. Hardy, you've heard of the Fenner group of companies. They've made an offer for a takeover, a very fair offer. But if they got the merest hint that Houghton might be dead, the takeover would be off.
And the price of the shares would fall.
Yes. And we don't risk this happening on such circumstantial evidence. A lot of small investors would suffer.
Including the Bastion Assurance Company. Oh, gentlemen, why come to me? I'm a pathologist. What you want is a private detective.
No, I mean there are the bloodstains to examine and that sort of thing.
And there may be a presumption of death involved.
You want me to try and find out what, if anything, has happened to Mr. Houghton?
Exactly.
Very well, gentlemen. But I must tell you that if the evidence should warrant it, I shall go to the police immediately.
Very well.
Would the press need to know?
Certainly not from me.
Good. You will keep us informed.
That's why you're paying me, isn't it? How does Mrs. Houghton take all this? You have informed her.
Mr. Williams is going to see her later.
And how thoughtful.
You haven't heard from Frank?
Not since yesterday, no.
It's just that with the takeover coming up in the AGM, don't you think it's an odd time for him to go fishing?
No. Why shouldn't he?
Well, I just wondered. Because he seemed so angry when we had the meeting with Thorpe, and I wondered if perhaps he just said he was going fishing.
What are you on about? You ought to know Frank better than that.
So you're quite sure that he did go to the cottage?
No, I'm not sure. I don't have to watch every step he takes.
Because I went down to the cottage this morning, and he wasn't there. So, well, I think he's had an accident.
Oh, really, Arthur?
Well, I don't want to... But I think the place has been broken into, and I found his jacket in the boat. But there was no sign of...
Have you told the police?
No. Now, I had a word with Thorpe about this, and he decided that we ought to keep it quiet.
When?
How do you mean this morning?
You spoke to Thorpe this morning, and you decided? Who the devil do you two think you are? Frank's my husband. And if anything's the matter with him, I want to know, do you hear? And I want the police to know.
Ah, but I think Thorpe's point was that the police wouldn't be very pleased if we went to them with a whole lot of suppositions and then Frank turned up. See, I'm just slightly concerned.
Well, I'm very concerned.
Oh, but not to worry, I'm sure there's some simple explanation. And Thorpe's called in some sort of expert. Dr. Hardy was a forensic scientist and first-class man.
Thorpe seems to have taken an awful lot on himself.
Well, he didn't want to worry you, you know. And Hardy's going to check up on things for us discreetly, and that way the police won't be involved if it's not necessary, and you know, let's hope it won't be. Well, I'd better be going, I think.
Yes. Well, Arthur, what did you expect me to say? Thank you for telling me my husband's missing.
Look, Sybil, leave it to us and try not to worry. And really, I'm quite sure there's no need to tell the police.
Goodbye, Arthur.
Bye, Sybil.
Police? I need some help, please.
Well, at 4 o'clock then, madam? Yes. The inspector should be back by then, yes. Goodbye. You're back early.
Changed his mind and pleaded guilty. Nothing new.
I just made an appointment for you at 4 o'clock. Mrs. Hudson. Something's happened to her husband.
What sort of something?
He's disappeared.
She sound erotic?
Oh, very calm. Attractive voice.
It doesn't mean a thing.
Do you know much about fishing?
Not a thing. Found something?
Don't tread on that chalk. Did Mr. Howden have anybody to clean?
No. At least I don't think so. He comes here to be by himself.
So much blood on that jacket.
Yes, quite a lot. At least that's what you said, isn't it?
You show me, please. Where is it?
I imagine it's still there. The jacket still is in the boat, Williams, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, will you show me, please?
Naturally, Inspector, I do realize there may be nothing in it. But I thought I'd better talk to you.
Of course, Mrs. Houghton. Though, as you say, it's a little vague. There's nothing to prevent a responsible adult from going missing, you know, if he chooses to.
Oh, if I thought Frank had just gone off somewhere, I wouldn't be worried. No, it's what Mr. Williams said about the broken door, the other things. And, well, I'm not sure that Mr. Williams isn't hiding something from me.
Huh?
Oh, from the best of motives. Not to upset me, you know?
Still, if he had some really definite evidence, he'd come to the police, wouldn't he?
Yes, I suppose so. Though, why did he talk it over with one of his business associates? And why did they decide to call in a forensic expert of some sort?
Oh, have they?
Yes, I think so.
Did they mention a name?
Yes. Hardy, I think.
Oh,
You know him?
yes. Yes, well, thank you, Mrs. Houghton. If we hear anything, of course, we'll let you know, but try not to worry too much.
There's so little to go on. I hope you don't think I've been wasting your time.
That's what we're here for.
I'll feel such a fool if I get home and find Frank waiting for me.
Why should we? Very self-possessed lady.
Husband's probably gone off with a girlfriend.
Maybe. She's the sort of woman who'd take that into account. Certainly not come to us with a load of old nonsense just to get a wandering husband back.
That's funny, Dr. Hardy being called in.
Hilarious.
Well, where was the boat?
Well, it was drifting over there.
The jacket was there.
Yes, exactly where it is now.
No, don't touch anything.
Dr. Hardy, there's an Inspector Fleming on the phone.
Dr. Hardy. It took some time to find you. Yes. Look, we've had a Mrs. Houghton in here looking for a husband. Haven't come across him down there, have you?
No.
Oh.
Come across one or two other things that might interest you.
Shall I come down?
I can manage.
I'll be with you in a couple of hours.
Dr. Hardy found something.
I don't know, that man's so cagey. He'd only give evens on night following day. Yes, we'd better liaise with the local force. Don't go treading on more toes than is necessary. Give them a ring, will you? See if we can get them to spare one of their men.
Bad. Bad.
Morning, Greg. And what the hell do you think you're up to?
Oh, hello, Harry. I was just looking for my dog.
Ought to have more sense than to come snooping round here.
You try telling that to old Bed. Got to find him, ain't I?
Mr. Oaten's warned you once already about trespassing.
But he ain't here, is he?
Go on, clear off. Ben will come home without you traipsing after him.
I'm not so sure. Keep an eye out for him, will you? He fell in the river and he's getting on a bit.
That's time you had him put down. Now go on. You better get off before my governor sees you.
Oh? What's going on then?
Never you mind. Now clear off. Now, any blood in the mop would be diluted. If it's there, I'll find it.
Right. So, there's blood on the jacket, on the floor around the sink, and on the handle of that carving knife. What made you pick that one?
Because it's cleaner than the others.
Still, what does it prove? Houghton cut himself.
But where did it happen?
Here in the kitchen.
And why a bloodstained jacket in a drifting boat?
Well, perhaps he cut himself in the boat and came back here to wash it off under the tap.
What was he doing with a carving knife in a boat? Now, just you look at the direction of those stains. Somebody who was moving out of the cottage. Now, and you see how widely they're spaced. He wasn't bleeding very much then. The kitchen floor could have been washed because there was a lot of blood. Now, all the indications point to the initial injury taking place here in the kitchen.
Perhaps he's in hospital.
Perhaps.
No. Nothing serious. I would have phoned his wife. Slight cut, he'd be back here by now. Anything else?
Yes, there's a suit upstairs on his bed you can check if Houghton was wearing it when he came down. Then there are tire marks outside the door, quite fresh. You can check if they're Houghton's car. And look. 2 of these are missing. Now, there's dust on those hooks and none on those. They were taken quite recently.
All right. So Houghton came here, went fishing, then disappeared. There's a broken lock and blood. What follows?
Well, before I start to theorize...
I'll get the fingerprint men in.
May I try to identify the blood?
Yes, of course.
Possibly Houghton's doctor may know his blood group.
Yes. This chap Williams. He's the company secretary, you say?
Yes.
How did you come and see Houghton at 6 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, here you are, their last letter. Why haven't we replied? The Fenner Group even suspect that something's happened to Houghton. They'll drop this takeover bid like a hot coal.
Then you'll just have to stall them, won't you? Good grief, man, it's easy enough. Tell him he's away on business.
Oh, but don't you see they want an answer before our annual general meeting?
Then they can't have it, can they? They're still offering the same price?
35 and 3.
Good, good.
Yes, you'll do all right out of it, won't you?
Not me, Williams, not me, my company. And they do have a habit of rewarding success.
With a seat on the board, I suppose. Williams? Well, I have somebody with me at the moment, Mr. Blundell. I'll ring you back if I may. Yes, without fail. Within the hour. Goodbye.
Blundell? Your bank?
Yes. I had a loan of 3,000. And I told the bank that the dividend would be up this year. But for Houghton, it would have been.
What the devil do you do with your money? You're not thinking of selling your shares?
Well, you know I can't do that. If Houghton's alive, he'd have me out of here like a shot.
If Hardy proved that Houghton is dead, there won't be any dividend. Neither will there be a takeover, and your shares will be worthless.
And my shares will be worthless. You think I don't know
Then
that?
just remember that we're employing Hardy. Bateson Assurance will be the first to know, so don't do anything until you hear from me. We're not just talking about half a dozen shares, you know, yours and mine. If we sell, it's got to be together. I don't want you jumping the gun and starting a slide.
I thought you were doing blood tests.
What do you make of that?
Oh, I don't recognise it. Could be anything. Where's it from?
From the bottom of the boat. Taste it. Go on.
Peppermint.
Peppermint flavored, bicarb, onate of soda.
Well, it wasn't a proper meeting. More like a row.
No, thanks. Just you, Mr. Williams, and Mr. Houghton.
Yes. Houghton was shouting his head off that no one was going to take over his company.
And how did Mr. Williams react?
Seemed quite pleased. It was only later he got a bit upset.
Huh?
Well, I expect you will find out anyway. Williams had borrowed a lot of money on the expectation of an increased dividend on his shares.
What about you, Mr. Thorpe?
I don't have any shares. I invest my company's money.
I see. But you would have preferred Mr. Houghton to accept the takeover or increase the dividend. Is it usual for a company secretary to hold shares in his own firm?
That happens. Williams originally had a firm of his own. He got the Houghton shares when he was bought out about 5 years ago.
Do you know why he went down to see Houghton?
I advised him to. Told him it was no good complaining to me. I told him to see Houghton.
At 6 in the morning?
Fishermen start early.
Houghton and Williams get on all right?
We're not actually friends. We were sort of working relationship.
And that's all?
Well, we do meet socially. I know his wife.
You've been to the cottage before?
Once or twice. Not much for fishing.
You knew that's where he'd be?
Oh, yes.
6 o'clock in the morning's an odd time to go visiting. Did you phone first?
Good heavens, no. If I'd phoned, he'd have told me to go to hell.
John, it's getting cold. It's on the table. Roast lamb.
It's a different blood group.
Oh, where's it from?
That jacket. 2 different lots of bloodstains on it.
Well, which is Houghton's?
That's Houghton's blood group. I'm going to ring Fleming.
After dinner.
Oh, is it ready? What are we having?
For goodness sake, man, sit down and relax. I told the inspector the truth. I said the three of us had a row.
Well, that was a pity.
Well, it would have looked damn suspicious if we'd tried to keep it quiet and they'd found out.
Yes, that's true. This expert of yours come up with anything yet?
No. No, not yet. I'm going to see her now. All right, I'll pick you up. Dr. Hardy, there's 2 lots of blood on that jacket, different blood.
Murder and victim.
Hmm.
When are you going to interview Williams?
One thing at a time.
He had the motive. He was down there, and he was edgy when I spoke to him.
You terrify him. I wonder whose blood it is on that jacket.
Look, I've answered all your questions, but it's my husband. Why won't you tell me what you found out?
Because so far we know little more than you.
I take it you're now working for the police.
With, not for the police. Your husband is a methodical man, is he not?
Yes, I suppose he is, Dr. Hartley.
Hardy, ma'am. Would he have gone fishing somewhere else?
I hardly think he'd pay £10,000 for a stretch of water and then fish somewhere else.
Quite. So you think that he went fishing at the cottage?
He told me he was going fishing. I've never known him go anywhere else.
He changed his suit at the cottage. We know he went there all right.
Is anybody saying he didn't?
Does your husband suffer from indigestion?
What? Yes. How did you know?
Something cracked out across here.
Scratches, yes?
Recent. Well, something got in or got out there, yes. Not boots. No. Buckles? No.
Yeah.
Buttons?
No. Wrong color, I think, sir.
Let me get that under a microscope.
What do you make of our Mr. Husband?
Not very much.
Is he neat or is he sloppy?
Neat.
He's meticulous.
How do you know?
Have you seen all those shelves and cupboards upstairs with little built-in compartments?
A place for everything and everything in its place.
Yes, and what's more, he's a logical thinker. Search a man's bookshelves and reveal the man.
I remember that.
He's got 3 books of mathematical problems for fun. Now, here we are. Now, if A divides his estate between his 5 sons in uneven portions, and he gets them right.
You work them out?
Now, I looked up the answers at the back. It's fishy.
How exactly?
There are 2 of these rods missing.
Yes.
Do you know anything about fishing?
No.
Well, that's a pity. So I want to talk to somebody who does. Why should he take 2? Perhaps he went fishing somewhere else. Then we know he's a man of habit. Why should he go away without telling anybody? AGM coming up, takeover bid in the air. He'd want to know what was going on. Wouldn't he?
Perhaps not. He took quite a few of these too. Flies, aren't they?
Yeah. Marvellous names. Did you notice? Whatever you say about fishing, it has that in its favour. Thunder and lightning, fiery brown, black doctor.
Everyone in its place.
Indeed. Where's he?
You got that fingerprint report on the Houghton cottage?
Yeah, I put it back in the desk.
Huh? What do you make of it?
Interesting.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Somebody did a good clean-up job. There's a blood trace under the knife handle, but no prints.
And none on the mop used to clean up the floor. Now, that's an odd one.
The one under the handle of the knife drawer is probably Houghton's.
Yes, well, we'll know when we take comparisons prints at Houghton's home.
Yes.
But if it's not Houghton's...
Well, the only one we know went there is Williams.
Doesn't really make sense, does it, Sergeant?
Doesn't it, sir?
All right. Would a murderer go on and remove some fingerprints and leave others? Would he most carefully dispose of a body and then leave a bloodstained jacket hanging around? Now, I can't believe anybody would be quite as stupid as that.
Perhaps he thought he was being clever, Doctor.
That's a very shrewd remark. Here, you have a look. Now, there'll be some indications of the body having been taken out to the boat. There'll be a footprint, or there'll be marks in the grass, but there's nothing, absolutely nothing. Well, Sandra?
These are the hairs of a dog.
Ah?
They're similar in characteristics to those of a dog.
Now, did Houghton have a dog? White, long hair?
No, not at all keen on. Wait a minute. Bloke called Greg's got an old dog, and it's a white one. Said it had fallen in the river. He was round here looking for it.
Now, it could have clambered into the boat, those scratches. Well, does that mean that this chap, Greg, was knocking around here too?
No, that's not true. We didn't really quarrel. I wasn't given much chance to get a word in, actually.
So you followed him to the cottage to give him your side?
More or less.
I see. What's your blood group, by the way?
What?
I just wondered if you knew what your blood group was.
Oh, why, what's... Oh, now, wait a minute. You don't think that blood on the jacket was mine? I can't be, because I haven't been cut or scratched or anything.
All right, Mr. Williams, nobody said it was.
I wish to heaven you'd find out what has happened.
It's important to you, isn't it?
Well, of course.
I mean, not just because of Houghton, it's important to you personally.
What you getting at?
Financially. You're in a bit of trouble, aren't you?
Oh, you've been talking to Thorpe, haven't you? So that's it. You think I'm the one with the motive?
I didn't say that, Mr.
No, but it's implied. Well, if you're looking for motives, Inspector, you don't have to get much further than Thorpe himself.
Oh?
Well, he stands to lose as much as I do.
How much?
No, not money, position. You see, he bought Houghton shares for his own company. Now, if Houghton fights off this takeover and cuts back the dividend, then that's the end of Thorpe's chances of a seat on the board.
Yes, yes, all right, darling. Yeah, look, I've got somebody with me at the moment. I'll call you back. Okay, bye-bye. Well?
I've spoken to Mrs. Houghton. She hasn't heard from him.
Blast. That AGM's too damn close. I don't risk waiting. No, I'll have to sell it.
That's your province. I must say, Thorpe, I don't altogether approve of the way that you're using underwriting to ferret out information for your own department.
Look, Ackroyd, you're all right on life assurance, but you don't understand the investment world one bit. You work on statistics, we on intangibles. Look, you don't have to rush back. Why don't you stay and have a drink?
No, thank you. As it so happens, I do have to get back.
All right, you know best. Well, thanks for all your help anyway. I might be in a position to help you in the near future.
So you will be getting that seat on the board?
Let's just say there's a distinct possibility.
In that case, I will have that drink.
Why not? Why not?
Yes, all right.
Wasn't Williams' blood on that jacket?
So we're back to square one?
Yes. No sign of Houghton's car, I suppose.
No, not yet. What do we do next, then? Drag the river?
I don't want to. It's a hell of an expense. Who was this?
Dr. Hardy rang.
Greg? Oh. Last, I'll have to go back down there again. Anything known?
Well, yes, I'm waiting for them to come back.
Well, chase them up, will you? If I've got to traipse to them for the least you can do is get on the blower.
Blue charm, Kirk's infallible, smoky dun.
Feathers and fish hooks. But they are pretty.
Red terror, oh, they're very imaginative, these killers of fish.
Here, oh, here they found my dog. Where?
2 miles downstream, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. You were pretty old.
Fell in from a boat, eh?
A boat? I ain't got no boat.
No, it was Mr. Houghton's boat.
Was it? Oh, yeah, well, it's not my fault. I mean, you can't tell a dog what's private property, can you?
No, I suppose not.
Excuse me, Dr. Hardy. Thought you'd better see this.
Oh?
One of my lads found it in the river. Not far off where your dog was, Greg.
Well, nice bit of tackle, that. Are you done with me?
Oh, yes, you can go now. Look, on second thoughts, you might hold on just a moment.
Oh, well, I can't stop now.
You might be able to help. Sergeant, do you think this could be one of the missing rods?
It could be. It looks the sort.
Does it? Oh, thank you. Now, Mr. Gregg, now you are a fisherman, aren't you?
Do bet.
Now, look, 2 of those rods are missing. Now, would Mr. Houghton take 2 rods to fish at the end of his garden?
Him? Look at his tackle, he took the kitchen sink. Got enough, hasn't he?
Wouldn't be unreasonable to take 2.
These pernickety merchants have a different rod for everything. They'd have one for all boots if there was me. Me, I make me do with just the one.
Like one of those?
No. Well, a bit pricey for the likes of me.
Yeah. Tell me, where would Mr. Houghton get his tackle? Somewhere local?
Probably from that old Noel, Jezard.
This definitely belongs to Mr. Houghton. You are sure of that?
You'll kindly allow me to know one of my own rods, sir.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Jezard.
You don't fish, do you?
No.
No, I thought not. I expect you spend your life rushing about all over the place. That's no way to live, man. You want to sit down quietly sometimes. Now, this rod...
Yes.
Wasn't used by Houghton.
How do you know?
He lost it over a year ago. He was most upset about it. Had to make him a new one. You see this fly? That's a yellow Torrish. It's a salmon fly. And this is a trout rod.
He wouldn't use a salmon fly...
On a trout rod? Man, why should he?
I have no idea.
Well, I'll tell you why. I made him a perfectly good salmon rod, that's why. Apart from that, he would never use the yellow Torrish.
He never used the yellow Torrish?
No, I tried to persuade him to, but he would never listen to me.
So if he lost this a year ago, well, anybody could have used it?
Exactly. And it was used by someone who tried to tie his own flies. An untidy man. And left-handed, too.
Now, what makes you say that?
Well, you see, it's tied from right to left, whereas a right-handed man would tie it from left to right. I'd say the man that used this rod lost himself a very big fish.
Poor Arthur. You really are in a state, aren't you? But I'm sure the police can't suspect you of anything.
Well, then why did they take my fingerprints and a blood sample?
But you haven't done anything. Have you?
No, of course not.
Then you've got nothing to worry about.
Oh, haven't I?
Well? Well?
Oh, it's not just the police, it's... Oh, well, it's everything. It's Frank going, the bank wanting money. And now Thorpe.
What's he done?
Sold out. That's what he's done. He told me not to sell, said it would look suspicious.
How do you know?
Well, he told me, quite calmly, this afternoon, after the market had closed. God knows what the price will be tomorrow.
Are you thinking of selling?
Well, before it goes any lower? I don't know, perhaps. I don't know. I don't want to make a mistake.
You'd better make up your mind. Doing nothing could be the biggest mistake of all.
Look, I'm getting fed up being dragged back here every 5 minutes. I wouldn't care if I was supposed to have done something.
All right, let's suppose that will make you happier.
Yeah. What do you mean?
You got a bandage on your hand.
So?
Cut yourself with a knife?
No, clever Dick. Fish hook.
I expect we can prove that one way or another. Mind if we get a doctor to look?
Yeah, I do mind.
How did your dog get into Houghton's boat?
I expect he walked.
You have a row with Houghton, did you?
Yeah.
While he was in the boat?
No, in there.
Who?
Ask Harry, he was here.
It was a year ago. Mr. Houghton caught him trespassing.
You haven't had another row with him since?
Oh, Mr. Gregg, I'm so glad you're still here. There's one thing more I wanted to ask you. Do you mind?
Oh, carry on.
Are you left-handed?
Then after you'd ask some funny questions around here.
Are you?
So, no law against that, is there?
Now, you tied this, didn't you?
What?
Now, come on, Gregg. You were fishing with Mr. Houghton's old rod, Mr. Houghton's boat, and Mr. Houghton's water, weren't you?
Were you? Come on, Greg, we just want to tie up some loose ends. I'm not interested in your tuck me halfpenny poaching.
Don't know what I'm letting myself in for, do I?
All right, Greg, I'm not listening. I'm not here.
Now, to begin with, you found this rod in Mr. Houghton's about a year ago.
That's what I found it.
Right, and on the morning that Mr. Houghton disappeared and when your dog was drowned, you tied this yellow Torrish, the cast, on this rod, and you borrowed Mr. Houghton's boat.
Suppose I did.
Well, go on.
Didn't have no luck. Everything went wrong. Gashed me hand on that hook for a start.
Ah, yes, bandage. Was there anything in the pockets of the jacket in the boat?
No. Ah, well, that
There you
is...
are, it's the other man, the other lot of blood on the jacket.
Actually, I did get in the face. It's a big one. Started to put up a terrible fight. Dog gets in a great lather around my feet, and I fell in. Just like a ruddy amateur.
When you fell in, that's when you lost the rod.
Yeah, it was a big fish, too, all of 30 pounds.
Yeah, didn't do this much good, did it?
And old Ben, my dog, he jumps in after me. Was a bit of a current, he's pretty old, and he got swept away. I gets to the bank, starts looking for him.
What happened to the boat?
Current got it. I'm more worried about old Ben. When I couldn't find him, I got home. Soaking. Couldn't see the boat after that. I mean, it was dark. It was.
You can go.
You can go. Now, look, what about the first lot of bloodstains on the jacket?
Look, you can go poking around here for as long as you like. Two things interest me, motive and opportunity. And I think I've got the man that fits the bill.
Williams?
Yes.
You haven't got a body.
If Williams cracks, I won't need one.
Good evening. Oh, it's you again. And don't you know better than to come stamping and shouting but people are fishing? Come to learn how to fish, have you?
Not yet. Now, Mr. Houghton is very careful and methodical, isn't he?
Aye.
And if he keeps 5 of each type of fly in this box.
Yeah, and if he ever loses one, he replaces it straight away.
Now, if 4 of each type were missing, it's probable that he'd have taken them with him, isn't it?
Well, he certainly wouldn't lend them.
These are the ones that are missing. Now, would he have been fishing with this type of fly in the wild?
Let's see now. Aye, spring blue, a Fenian, gold body, and blue silk. He might. Then again, he might not.
Oh.
You see, there's only one thing more unpredictable than the fisherman, and that's the fish.
Oh, I hope there might be something specially significant.
Well, now you come to mention it, they do have something in common. Aye, apart from all being salmon flies, they're all streaked with brown mallard stripes.
You mean you'd only use this fly in a particular water?
Exactly. Now, I couldn't pinpoint for you exactly where Houghton might be, but I'll hazard a guess at the general area.
So you admit you're thinking of selling your shares?
As a matter of fact, I am, yes.
Why would you want to do that, Mr. Williams?
What do you mean?
Well, if Mr. Houghton's still alive, surely there's no point in selling, is there?
Well, no.
So he is dead, is that what you're saying?
No. No, not at all. Williams. Yes, he's here.
Thank you. Yes,
Sir, I've just had Dr. Hardy on the phone.
and?
He suggested we hold back on Williams for a bit. Well, he thinks we may have something definite for us quite soon.
Does he?
But surely it's not much to ask. Please, Dr. Hardy.
Believe me, Mr. Williams, I do appreciate your dilemma. But I cannot give you information to which you are not entitled.
But I am entitled. I'm the company secretary. Surely if anyone should know, I should.
I'm employed by Bastion Assurance Company. They are paying me for my information.
Ah, Thorpe again, yes. But he's sold already.
Oh, has he?
Wait a minute. You say you haven't sent your report yet?
No, but I've tried in vain to telephone Ackroyd.
And you haven't spoken to Thorpe?
No.
Your report, Doctor.
Ah, thank you. Excuse me.
Is that it, the report on Houghton?
That's right, yes. Oh, I say, your typing is improving, isn't it?
I really don't see why I can't see that report.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, but it really is a matter of professional etiquette.
If you haven't spoken to Thorpe, then why did he sell? He must know something unless he panicked. You see, I can't afford to make a mistake this time. So, Dr. Hardy, please.
Would I be right in assuming that Thorpe's company has quite a considerable shareholding in Houghton's company.
Fairly.
How much?
8%.
And Houghton's holding is 40%, I think Thorpe said.
Yes.
Would I be further right in assuming that your holding is 3%?
No, it's 4, actually. But wait a minute. Are you saying...
No. I'm a pathologist, not a stockbroker.
All right, well, purely as a private individual, if you were in my shoes, would you sell?
Well, in answer to what is, after all, a purely hypothetical question, I would wait until after tomorrow's annual general meeting.
I see. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I won't waste any more of your time. Thank you. Goodbye to you. Goodbye. Thank you. Hello, Inspector.
Now make me laugh.
Not quite yet. I'm waiting for a very important telephone call.
Who from?
Just exactly what is it you are accusing us of, Inspector?
I think you've got quite a lot to explain to do, Mr. Houghton.
I really do apologize. From what you say, it seems I inadvertently caused you some trouble.
Inadvertently? You set the whole thing up from the beginning, Houghton.
I don't think I like your tone, Thorpe, or what you're implying.
I'll spell it out for you if you like. You knew damn well that if you went into that AGM meeting, you'd be outvoted by me, Williams, and the rest of the shareholders. You had to get control.
Oh?
You set it up to make us believe something had happened to you with the sole object of depressing the share price and getting us to sell.
What an ingenious plan.
I don't like being made to look a fool, Houghton.
Then don't behave like one.
You've wasted a great deal of time on public money, Mr. Houghton. Deliberately misleading the police can be a very serious matter.
I haven't misled you, Inspector.
Haven't you, sir? You went to the cottage, you don't deny that, I suppose?
No.
And deliberately broke the lock. Why do that?
I forgot the key.
I see. And laying a trail of blood, wiping off fingerprints, leaving a blood-stained jacket in a boat and clearing off without telling anyone?
Not laying a trail, I cut my hand very badly. I must have held it against my jacket. Then I wiped up the blood.
My husband's a very tidy man.
Go on, sir.
I went fishing, and from what you say, I must have absent-mindedly left my jacket in the boat.
He can be quite absent-minded.
That evening the fish were very dull, weren't taking at all. The fishing had been poor for some time.
And so you decided to go to Ireland.
How did you know that?
Look, sir, you went to Ireland without telling your wife.
My husband's a very secretive man.
Yes, I'm sure. There's a takeover bit in the air. An AGM 2 days off. And you expect me to believe you just disappear?
I needed a rest.
Thorpe panic, sells his shares. You buy them up, all by chance, nothing planned.
Well, I can hardly be held responsible for what Thorpe read into my actions, now can I? As for the shares, I didn't buy them.
I did, Inspector.
I see, Mr. Houghton. Well, that's your story, and I suppose we'll have to accept it.
You mean you're not going to?
Do what, Mr. Thorpe? Thank you, Doctor.
Oh, Mr. Thorpe, shall I send my account to you or to Mr. Ackroyd?
Ackroyd.
Arthur,
Yes?
like to sell your shares?
I'll think about it.
Oh, come now, they're only 4%.
Yes, but now it's a very important 4%. It will give you controlling interest.
Well, I really must be going. Goodbye.
Tell me, Doctor, how did you know I'd gone to Ireland?
The flies you took are ideal for Irish waters.
Oh, so you know all about fishing too, then?
Nothing whatsoever, but I know whom to ask.